Hi, everybody. Welcome to my homestead and welcome to my channel. I don't know if you caught the live stream last night or if you watched it after the fact, but we were talking about how things have flared back up with Israel to the point where it's now like an actual operation. Operation uh, Arrow. I already forgot. Arrow and Shield. Shield and Arrow. I can't remember. I'm going to look it up in just a minute. And I thought that this was pretty significant. Uh, well, I'll show you in just a little bit. Let me pull up some stuff as I wait for people to get in here. Here, I'll switch it to this view. Okay, I'm going to look up list of Israeli wars. Wars involving Israel. So they haven't updated on this page the current operation, but I'm sure that they will, because I think it's on the same scale and scope as these other operations, like the Gaza war or Operation Cast Lead. That lasted about a month from December 2008 until January 2009. And then Operation Pillar of Defense in 2012. And then the 2014 Gaza war, Operation Protective Edge, which also went just for like a month, July to August of 2014. And then Operation Guardian of the Walls in May of 2021. So, not being an expert, from what I can tell, it seems like this current operation is probably of the same scale as those other ones, which I think is significant. Let's see, Israel Operation Shield and Arrow. Let's go to Jerusalem Post, because what I want to do, okay, the way I'm going to remember this is that a shield is defense, like defense first, and then arrow comes afterwards, like you defend, and then you attack. Because from the Israeli point of view, that's how it is. Of course, the Palestinians and others would argue otherwise, and that's just the eternal struggle that they're in right now. So anyway, so what I need to do is I need to put this on my Second Coming timeline, which I'm going to do right now. Timeline, Second Coming. Let's see. Okay, now it is past the 7th of May, so that means the Richmond, Virginia temple has been dedicated. So now I'm going to do this. As far as I know, President Nelson is still alive today, so I'll do that. Or yesterday. Yesterday was the 9th, so 9 May. Operation Shield and Arrow. And that's Israel versus, as of right now, spoiler alert, as of right now, it seems like it's only the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. And that's what we were talking about yesterday. We were wondering, is this going to involve other groups like Hamas? Because Hamas is in, is that the bright red? Because Hamas is headquartered out of Gaza Strip, and it's the Gaza Strip where you're getting a lot of these rockets. I think exclusively all of them are coming from the Gaza Strip, from the PIJ, Islamic, or the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Okay, so bear with me. Okay, we don't know how long this is going to go for. Obviously, we're just at the beginning of it. Let's see, this article is by J-Post Editorial, so it doesn't have an author. Okay, give me a second. J-Post Editorial. The name of the article is Israel's Operation Shield and Arrow is about Gaza rockets, not politics. And then this is from the Jerusalem Post. The Jerusalem Post. The article's from today, so May 5, 2023. And then here's the link for it. So this is the link that I'll use as a reference for the starting point of this conflict. Don't know if it's going to be like the other ones that only last like a month or so. I don't even know really if it's on the same scale as those other conflicts. I mean, it's only been a day. For all I know, maybe things will wrap up today and that'll be done. I don't know. So yeah, for right now, I'm not going to put it in one of these columns where I keep track of, like, you know, you see how like the Ukraine war is ongoing. I'm not going to put it here until, well, I don't know. I'll determine that in the future. But for the very least, I'll put this right here. Okay, and I'll fine tune that later. Okay, so who do we got? Michelle, hey, from Norway. Hi, Michelle. Camille Berry, Shield and Arrow. Thank you. Carmedic of Tucson, what's up? Janet Manning, I'm here, Jared. Welcome, Janet. Joni's here. Hey, more crazy things going on. I figured it would get worse. Yeah. Yeah, it looks like it has. Jacob Alley, the Richmond dedication was awesome. It was such a spiritual experience. Great. I'm glad that you were able to attend. I've never been to a temple dedication except for the Nauvoo temple. Wait, I can't remember if I went both to the Nauvoo temple and the Palmyra broadcast. I'm pretty sure I went to the. I'm not. I know at least I attended the Nauvoo like worldwide broadcast, but I've never actually been to one in person. Michelle Vallejo, hi Jared. I appreciate all the research you do to produce these videos. I come here for current events. Thank you. Thank you, Michelle. I'm glad that you find value in my channel. Twin Angels, as soon as I finished yesterday's video, boom, here you are with the goods. Sabrina DeVry, I read that the Egyptians have called for a ceasefire between the two. Yeah, well, I got some news on that. Again, spoiler alert, it doesn't seem like that held. But I'll show you in a minute. Green Tree, could you do a search on the work is done? That will be said by the Savior. From what I've heard, that is said after the millennium, not at the second coming. So no need to wait for the work to be done. Yeah. If you could do me a favor, if you could send me an email to remind me, that would be great. Because yeah, that would be good to look into. Yes. Elizabeth Owens, hello. Pepsi Fiend in Mesa, Arizona. Cool. I like Pepsi. I like all sodas, frankly. I've never tried Tab. Wait, have I? I feel like it might be a false memory. I don't know. Tiffany CV, I'm looking on the news and don't see anything big going on in Ukraine. Well, yeah, I don't know. I'm not sure anything big's going on in Ukraine, but today we're discussing Israel. Camille Berry, we just got dates for the historic St. George Temple. Oh, good. So that means I'll need to update my tracker. Wait, no, I'm not keeping track of rededications. No, I should probably put that on the tracker because the St. George Temple is kind of, it's an important one. Lisa Jax, hi from Washington. Lisa Jax, Tab was an acquired taste. Yeah, my mother-in-law, my wife tells me that she used to drink it, and I think it's really high in caffeine, right? Isn't that like the main selling point for Tab? I don't know. Okay, so some of this I'll put on the screen, some I won't. Okay. So there is rocket fire going on right now. So like 8 minutes ago, this is on, so all this is on Twitter. This is from Olive, the Olive account. Airstrike on Beit Lahia, northern Gaza. So an Israeli airstrike on that place in Gaza. Holy cow. Man, if you want to see videos, like seriously, Twitter is the place to go. I love Twitter for that. I don't like the garbage. Oh my gosh, there's a guy right there reporting. He's like on the street reporting. I wish I could put it on here, but I'd get a copyright strike. Anyway, he's like reporting on the street, and above him there are missiles flying and getting intercepted and stuff like that. Okay, so let me tell you the story as I've seen it, and this time I do have it in chronological order. We were doing a bunch of errands today, and as Jenica was going into all the stores, I was like going from the beginning and doing it, retweeting in order, so I could like give you a chronological picture of what's happened. So the furthest back that I go with what I'm about to share you is 5 hours ago. So this one is from Toy Alerts. Live update. Senior Israeli official says Hamas not involved in current rocket fire. And as far as I know, that's still the case. It's only been Palestinian Islamic Jihad. We were wondering last night, is Hamas going to join in? We heard a report that Iran was trying to pressure Hamas to join, but Hamas is possibly worried because like they're trying to hold on to power, and so they have to like be calculated. It could be suicide for them potentially if they were to join. At least that's what the update we read said. So anyway, we were also wondering if like Hezbollah in the north or Palestinian Islamic Jihad in other places would join in, like in the West Bank or Syria or something like that. And so far, it doesn't seem like it has. Only the Gaza Strip and only Palestinian Islamic Jihad. If you're not familiar with the geography, and I assume that most of you are, but just in case you aren't, I'm going to pull this up. Let me let it load, and then I'll switch the screen over. Okay, so right here's Israel, tiny little country. You have the West Bank, which is this big thing right here, and then like in the middle is Jerusalem. And then you have the tiny Gaza Strip over here. It's very small. And I've learned within the last 24 hours, I didn't know this before, but Gaza is the most densely populated like area. I don't know if they were talking about Gaza City or the entire Gaza Strip, but one of the two, it's the most densely populated area in the world. So you have two groups operating out of here, Gaza, the Palestinian Islamic Jihad and Hamas. Hamas is the one that's in charge of the Gaza Strip. And then the Palestinian Authority is in charge of the West Bank, but you also have other groups that operate out of there. And then you have like up here, the Golan Heights and Syria. There's a couple groups that operate out of there. And then Hezbollah operates out of Lebanon, which is up here. Okay, and then I'd have to like pull up that graph again. We went over that yesterday, the different groups that operate out of all these places. In fact, you know what? Let me look that up really quick, but I'll have to switch to this. I'll find it because I wanted to show this to you yesterday, but I wasn't using OBS. Okay, so go to the window. I'm gonna get rid of my the webcam there so you can see. So yeah, Lebanon, you have Hamas and Hezbollah. So Hamas operates out of the Gaza Strip. They operate out of Lebanon. They operate out of the West Bank or Judea and Samaria. According to this graphic, this is from Alma Research and Education Center. Okay. Let's see, in Syria, there are four groups: Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Hezbollah, Liwa Fatimiyon, and Liwa Zainabiyon. So those four groups. And then in the West Bank, Palestinian Islamic Jihad, Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade, Hamas, and Abu Ali Mustafa Brigades. And then in Iraq, these aren't really involved with Israel as far as I know. This graphic is just showing, like it says at the top, the Shiite axis, basically controlled and influenced by Iran. Iran being represented here in the middle. We've talked about how Iran seems to be consolidating their influence on the region and coordinating things in a way that they haven't before. Things are changing in the Middle East. Okay, so now let me go back to where I was. Oh, too far. Right there. Okay, so toy alerts. Senior Israeli official says Hamas not involved in current rocket fire. As of right now, they're not involved. Okay. This is from OSINT Defender. Egypt has sent a diplomatic message to the Israeli government that the Palestinian Islamic Jihad is possibly interested in beginning negotiations toward a ceasefire. That was 4 hours ago. And it's interesting because I found one tweet where it showed their conditions for a ceasefire, which I don't think those conditions are going to be met. I'll show you in a little bit. Okay, 4 hours ago, toy alerts. IDF says 270 rockets fired at Israel, 62 intercepted by Iron Dome. So last week, when there was that flare-up that was happened because of the death of that prisoner that went on a hunger strike, there were over 100 rockets. But this time, 270 as of 4 hours ago, and that number has gone up. Okay, Emmanuel Fabian, if I remember right, he's the journalist that works for the... Oh yeah, it says right here in his bio. He is a journalist for the Times of Israel. Okay, he says David's Sling system was used to intercept rocket fire from the Gaza Strip at Tel Aviv earlier. Now, I think that is a new development because everything up until now, over this last week or so, has mostly been southern Israel near Gaza. In fact, the town that keeps coming up over and over again is this one right here, Sderot, right here. Okay, but there was a rocket that was fired toward Tel Aviv up here, and it was intercepted by David's Sling. There's a couple of these tweets that are going to kind of talk about David's Sling, but let me look it up really quick. David's Sling, yeah, interceptor. Oh no, yeah, Wikipedia. David's Sling, also formerly known as Magic Wand, is a Israeli Defense Forces military system being jointly developed by the Israeli defense contractor Rafael Advanced Defense Systems and American defense contractor Raytheon. Hopefully you've heard of Raytheon before. I have. I don't know if that's just because I was in the army, but anyway. Designed to intercept enemy planes, drones, tactical ballistic missiles, medium to long-range missiles, and cruise missiles. I think that's why this was used, because in order to fire a rocket from Gaza, I would think that it would take a larger rocket to reach all the way up here than it would Sderot and Ashkelon and these places down here. So anyway, that system was deployed, and it's only the second time ever that it's been deployed. So I think that's kind of notable. So 4 hours ago, instant news alerts. Oops. Sorry. I just have to make sure I don't get a copyright strike if there's videos playing. Israeli media reporting David Sling missile defense system used to intercept a rocket fired at Tel Aviv a few hours ago. The estimated cost of each David Sling interceptor is $1 million. That is a very expensive missile. Of course, I don't really know what the going rate is for missiles. I don't know, but that's a lot. 4 hours ago from the IDF, more sirens sounding in central Israel. 4 4 hours ago from Toy Alerts, Islamic Jihad says Egypt working to forge ceasefire in Gaza. 4 hours ago from OSINT Defender, the Iron Dome system only conducts interceptions of rockets/missiles that are calculated to land on or near residential areas. So the other 140 rockets that were not shot down were likely heading for open or non-residential areas. That I didn't know that. Did you? Did you know that about the Iron Dome system? That's pretty cool. It's a way to like conserve missiles for rockets and missiles that they actually need to worry about. Okay, let's take a look at the chat really quick. Seawheel Miller, the space flavor Coke is the best. Okay, so we're talking about possibly the start of the final war, Armageddon, and in the chat we're talking about soda. So the space flavor Coke is the best. I always got to have Coke with pizza. It's been a long time. I tried that space flavor Coke. I liked it okay. It wasn't like my favorite, but colas, whether it's Pepsi or Coke or some other generic brand, I love cola with pizza, Italian food, Mexican food, stuff like that. Michelle, not sure what is going on with Ukraine today, but there are still regional tensions with Russia and many of its other neighbors. The Rain channel. Hi, Jared. I catch you. Lice. I went to Toronto open house. Okay. Well, cool. I'm assuming that you went to. Is there a Toronto open house? Did we already have a temple there? Is it being like renovated, or is this a new temple? I don't know. Michelle Vallejo, my husband recently had a vision that started off as a terrifying dream, so terrifying that he awoke, and after awaking he continued having the vision for a few minutes. I know about personal revelation. Cool. Well, I mean, I'm glad that it wasn't real, but hopefully he gets some benefit out of that. Barbara Short O'Brien, or Brian, 2 Thessalonians 2. What do you think of this chapter? Well, I'm not going to go too far off topic today, but you can send that to me in a separate email if you want. El Paculi, star, Tab was targeted almost exclusively to women, from its bubblegum pink packaging to its ads riddled with dubious body shape claims. Must not have worked because it's gone now. Laugh out loud. Patsy Reinhardt, another live chat. Yay. Michelle Vallejo, I feel this personal revelation will affect not just us, but the whole nation. It's scary. I pray for all those who are spiritually asleep. Yeah, me too. And unfortunately, there's too many of those. Janet Manning, this is the beginning. It could be celebrating the coming of our Christ. Betty Horn, oh no, I can't stay. I have an appointment. I'll have to catch the replay. Okay, well, I hope you get safely where you need to go and everything goes well. Camille Berry, I've just been so full of compassion for those involved in war. It has to be so scary. Yep, it is. I was in Afghanistan. I was in a relatively safe place, but we still received indirect fire at the base, and there were sirens, and you had to like take shelter. And one time I was at the DFAC, which is it's short for dining facility, where like the cafeteria, and there's like two different types of sirens that go off. One that's just like a general siren. But there's another one where if they calculate that the fire is coming to your sector, then it's a different siren. So, it's like coming toward you. And that happened as I was holding my tray. And I was like, of course, like right now, of all times, it has to be happening right now while I have my tray. But I put my tray down and then I got down on the ground. But there's a lot scarier places to be than just that. Let's see. Michael and Brittany Schrader. How do you feel this is different from the other times they launched rockets into Israel? I feel it's different because they've launched an operation, a named operation. So let me show you what I mean. I was doing this earlier, but you probably join in later. So here's a list on Wikipedia of all of Israel's wars and other conflicts. The ones that I have highlighted in red are wars that could have that were essentially existential threats. Okay, like big wars where they actually could have ceased to exist potentially. The other ones are smaller skirmishes. Now, from the year 2000 on, it's mostly been just kind of small things. Like you have, for example, the first Intifada, which was like an uprising, the second Intifada, which I think was a lot more covered and a lot more serious. That happened in the year 2000 when Ariel Sharon visited the Temple Mount. That went for 5 years. You had the 2006 Lebanon War. But then after that, there are, 4 operations. One at the end of 2008, Operation Cast Lead. And then the second one, Operation Pillar Defense in 2012. In 2014, the third one, Operation Protective Edge. And then the fourth one in 2021, Operation Guardian of the Walls. So the fact that they've started an operation and it has a name, and it seems like this has only happened 4 other times, I think that that's notable. What I don't know is if this is on the same scale as these other 4 operations. Let me highlight these. I don't know if it's on the same scale, or in other words, if it's like the same category as these, but it seems like it is. So at the very least, it's notable because it is now the 5th such operation. And going back in time, there really hasn't been any other things. Like in the early days, there were like skirmishes between Israel and its neighbors. And then toward, I don't know, maybe starting like the 70s and onward, it started to be more just like localized, smaller skirmishes. Well, there's the Lebanon War in 82, but and then the South Lebanon conflict. But that was against like Hezbollah. It wasn't against Lebanon. So anyway, let's just say for this century, it's all been just kind of like limited small skirmishes and uprisings for the most part. So, yeah, so it's only 1 of 5 if it turns out to be the same type of thing as what these were. So that's why I think it's important. And the other thing about it, like I said, is what I don't know is if things are different now because things are so much more in favor of Iran and their plans for Israel. They're a lot more united. Iran, I don't know. That's how I see it. But the only thing that we can do is just kind of like wait and see what happens. So let's go ahead and get back to this timeline. So 4 hours ago, the IDF has announced that 270 rockets have been launched. Compare that to just about 100 last week. So definitely an escalation. Toy Alerts says David Sling makes first operational interception as it downs rocket over Tel Aviv, which I think that's a mistake because later it says that it's the second. So let me just see what the other tweets say. So going on, OSINT Defender says the activation today of David Sling was reportedly utilized to shoot down a rocket launched from the Gaza Strip that was heading towards a heavily populated area in the city of Tel Aviv. And I'm sure you know that Tel Aviv, well, I think it's the largest center of population in Israel, ahead of Jerusalem, I think. Let's see. Largest. Okay, let's do list of largest cities in Israel. Oh, I'm completely wrong. Israel is larger, just under 1 million, and then Tel Aviv is almost at 500,000. But I wonder, okay, list of largest metro areas in Israel. Yeah, Jerusalem and then Tel Aviv. Okay, so never mind. So Tel Aviv is second. Jerusalem is first. But still, as far as like when we're talking about Jews and Arabs and Palestinians and all that stuff, Tel Aviv is, I think, almost strictly Jewish. There's probably like Israeli Arabs over there, but I think it's more Jewish than what Jerusalem would be. Jerusalem would be a lot more mixed. Okay, so let's go back here. Okay, OSINT Defender. The only other time David's sling was used was in 2018. The first year of President Nelson's presidency. There's so many things that like happened in 2018. It's so weird. When two Syrian OTR-21 Tochka tactical ballistic missiles were heading towards Israeli airspace. Though both of the missiles ended up landing in Syria, roughly 1 kilometer from the Israeli border, and the interceptor rockets detonated. So that was the only other time that this weapon system has been deployed. Once in 2018, and now today, when the PIJ tried to hit Tel Aviv. Okay, 4 hours ago, Emmanuel Fabian, in response to a question by Times of Israel, IDF spokesman Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari says the military will continue to strike Islamic Jihad and not Hamas. Islamic Jihad is quote unquote, okay, quote, Islamic Jihad is leading this rocket fire. If other factions join, we will respond against them too, he says. So I guess we'll have to see. Let's do like a little poll. What do you guys think? Do you think that other factions are going to join in? Put a Y if you think that during this Operation Shield and Arrow, put a Y if you think other factions are going to join in? Hamas, Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade, Hezbollah, whatever. Put a Y if you think yes. Put an N if you think no. Let's see what everybody thinks. And as you're putting in your vote, let's see. Lisa Jacks, thinking the quickening needs to happen before Israel is in real trouble. I sure hope so. Susan Henry, oh my heavens. So much chaos. I served my mission in Ukraine. I hear from the people that I knew every day. I hope the people in Israel will be okay. Yeah, let's hope that everybody will be okay. Everybody. Jen Stevens is here from Christian Fire Poppy. And by the way, Jen, I've seen your text. It takes me time to respond. I'm so sorry. She says, great time to review this. Romans 11:25. Be not ignorant of this mystery, that blindness in part is happened to Israel until the fullness of the Gentiles be come in. All Israel shall be saved. The Haystack, love your videos, especially when working in the garden. Cool. Glad to hear it. Let's see. And then Jen Stevens continuing, for the casting away of them be the reconciling of the world. What shall the receiving of them be but life from the dead? Lisa Jax, Christian Fire Poppy, I enjoy your thoughts. The Haystack Christian Fire Poppy, good recommendation. I'll have to check it out. Christian Fire Poppy says, Israel being gathered again and saved would be a miracle like life from the dead. Yep. Yeah. Stacy Godnick from Park City, Utah. Love your updates. Good. I hope you guys enjoy this. I think you do. That's why you're here. I don't know. I like it when there's. I don't like that bad things are happening, but I like giving updates and looking for updates as you have a situation that's going on. Okay, Blue Maple, no, Utah to the Big 12. Okay, Christian Fire, part of Gather. Okay. Blue Maple, Tel Aviv Metro over 3.8 million. Do you know what the Jerusalem Metro is? So we can compare that. Karitzi, hello from Florida, just joining. Oh, wow. So everyone thinks that other factions are going to join in the attacks and rocket fire. It's unanimous out of everyone that's voted. That's crazy. Okay. C. Will Miller just got a thought. What if the siege of Jerusalem only comes after the surrounding Israeli areas are conquered, and the Jewish people that remain only remain in their fleeing to safety for Jerusalem? Yeah, you know, I wish we had more details and we knew exactly how it was going to go. There's like different numbers of like, how much of the city is going to be taken, and there's like different numbers and stuff like that, which again, I don't know if they're literal or not. They could be, but I'm not. Let's see. Blue Maple says Jerusalem mentor. Was that a typo? Anyway, yeah, I don't know. I don't know how it's gonna happen. Joni thinks yes as well, that other factions are going to join in. Patsy Reinhardt, I pray for the people in Israel. Rod Turple, still loving the hat. Okay, Blue Maple says the Jerusalem metro is 1.3 million, whereas the Tel Aviv was 3.8. So if you look at it in that sense, then Tel Aviv is the more populated area, the cities that surround it. So, okay, good. I thought it was like that. I thought it was. Okay. Let's get back to these updates. Okay, now we're to 3 hours ago. Francesco Comito says the Palestinian Ministry of Health in Gaza updates 21 dead and 64 injured so far since the beginning of the current escalation, which started. If they're talking about the current escalation, then that would have started yesterday, unless they're including last week as well. I can't remember if there were any casualties last week. And then Francesco Comito also says Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu will make a statement to the public this evening. Okay, Israel radar. Gaza status update. IDF revises estimate. Terrorists fired close to 300 rockets. Over 60 shot down. Army bombed over 50 terror targets. Destroyed dozens of rocket and mortar launchers. Unconfirmed reports say Islamic Jihad wants ceasefire. That was 4 hours ago from that tweet, when that was tweeted. Three hours ago, the PIJ's leader, the Palestinian Islamic Jihad's leader, Ramzi al-Halabi, quote, no ceasefire agreement has been reached in the Gaza Strip until now. 3 hours ago, this is the IDF's official Twitter account. Almost 300 rockets were fired from Gaza, Israel. 56 failed to launch and landed in Gaza. Islamic Jihad simultaneously endangers the lives of both Gazans and Israelis. 3 hours ago from Francesco Comito, Palestinian sources reporting shooting from a UAV in the Beit Hanun area. Where is that? Beit Hanun. Okay, let me put it on the screen here. Beit Hanun is like at the very northern part of the Gaza Strip. So they're saying that, excuse me, that an unmanned aerial vehicle, Palestinian sources report shooting from, so like a UAV from Israel shooting in that area. I think that's what that means. Toy alerts. Knesset advances bill to make it easier to punish those flying terror flags. That's like those, I'm sure you've seen this before, most of you. You know, these kind of things right here. 4 hours ago, Israeli Home Front Command continues restrictions, including school closures on areas within 40 kilometers of Gaza until Friday, May 12th at 1400. No restrictions for the rest of Israel. Now, what I heard yesterday when I was watching, I think it was I-24 News English, they were talking about how that's like unprecedented. Not just like the closure of schools, but like there were like other things too. I think they asked people to move, like to leave that area for a while, to like physically leave those cities. Let's see. I-24 News English, Homefront Command places special instructions until Friday for southern Israeli communities up to 50 miles from Gaza's border. Okay, 3 hours ago, Egyptian media reports ceasefire has gone into effect. Okay, so supposedly there was a ceasefire. Francesco Camito, the Al-Quds network, reports that there is great pressure being exerted on the senior leadership of the Islamic Jihad to accept the ceasefire. And then he confirms that Egypt had brokered a ceasefire. OSINT defender, Egyptian, as well as some Israeli media, is continuing to state that that a ceasefire is now in effect between the Israeli Defense Forces and the Palestinian Islamic Jihad. So 3 hours ago, things were looking okay, and they were looking good. And then, like immediately, also 3 hours ago, from OSINT defender, the ceasefire between the Israeli Defense Force and Palestinian Islamic Jihad appears to have effectively collapsed. So that was like immediately after they had a ceasefire. And then a large barrage of rockets are reported to have been launched from the Gaza Strip towards settlements in southern Israel, including the city of Sderot, within the last few minutes. Israel radar rocket alert triggered across central Israel. Residents in towns around Tel Aviv rush into bomb shelters. Barrage also targets Beersheba in South Israel. Reports of ceasefire were premature, or this is Islamic Jihad's final salvo before the end. We'll find out tonight. Francisco Camito, unconfirmed. Al-Qassam, which is the Hamas's military wing, is not happy with the political wing of Hamas. But it doesn't say why. I don't know if it's because the military wing thinks that they should be joining in this rocket attack. Okay, IDF, their official Twitter account says, this is 2 hours ago, more sirens sounding as Islamic Jihad launch another barrage of rockets toward Israel. Civilians in cities like Tel Aviv running to shelters for safety. Just today, over 300 rockets have been fired at civilians all over the country. I mean, all over the country. I don't know if all over the country, but okay. Not that I've seen. It seems like it's just been Tel Aviv and like the area surrounding Gaza. Toy alerts. Israel official, a ceasefire will be judged by reality on the ground, not words. OSINT defender 2 hours ago. We'll have to wait and see if these attacks continue to only be conducted by the PIJ, or if other factions like Hamas or even Hezbollah in Lebanon decide to join in. 2 hours ago, reminder that the ongoing rocket barrages across southern Israel appear to only be from the Palestinian Islamic Jihad, with Hamas deciding in a meeting between the factions earlier today not to participate in the retaliation, most likely due to fears of a major war in the region. That's kind of crazy to think about. If they're thinking that would be a reality, a major war. 2 hours ago, the IDF is now attacking PIJ targets. Israel conflict news 2 hours ago. Despite the heavy shooting, Egypt and Qatar are exerting heavy pressure for a ceasefire tonight, including after the firing. According to a source involved in the ceasefire talks, it is expected within hours. I guess we'll see. Israel conflict news 2 hours ago. Iron Dome's interception percentages so far since the start of operation, more than 95%. So that's good. If you're joining late, we were talking about the effectiveness of the Iron Dome and how what I didn't know until now is that they're able to calculate where different missiles and rockets are heading, and they only focus on it. Only goes for missiles and rockets that they calculate are heading toward residential areas. So if it's not, then they just let it go. But this is saying 95% or more than 95% successful interceptions. Netanyahu 1 hour ago, we are in the middle of the campaign, which I wonder if that's a clue as to how long they intend for it to go. Like, is this going to be the type of operation that goes for like a month, like the other ones that we saw on that list? Because remember, let me pull it up. So, Operation Cast Lead went for about a month. Operation Pillar of Defense, it doesn't really say. Let me see if it says it on this page. Yeah, so just like about a week. That was like a week. From the 14th to the 21st of November 2012. Operation Operation Protective Edge went for about a month. Operation Guardian of the Walls in 2021. That went from the 6th until the 21st. 2 weeks and 1 day. So if he's saying that we're in the middle of it, like, is that like giving some kind of time frame? Like, hey, this is only going to be like a 48-hour, 72-hour thing? Or is he just kind of saying, you know, things are hot and heavy right now? I don't know. One hour ago, Netanyahu also said the Islamic Jihad suffered the hardest blow it has suffered in its history. Huh. Well, how long is its history? Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Okay, let's put it up on the screen here. Dates of operation from October 1981 until present. So is he just using hyperbole, or is he like actually saying this was the hardest that they've ever been hit since 1981? I don't know. If that's true, then that seems like that's pretty significant. Also, he said, this is Benjamin Netanyahu, anyone who sends terror against us and harms us, blood on his head. Okay, 1 hour ago, IDF says it struck an Islamic Jihad military post in southern Gaza used to launch mortars at Israel earlier today. Israel conflict news. IDF spokesperson, the IDF attacks a military position of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad in the southern Gaza Strip. Earlier today, an aircraft attacked a military position of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad terrorist organization in Rafah after mortars were fired from the area of the position toward the territory of the state of Israel in the afternoon. At this time, IDF continues to attack terrorist targets of the Palestinian Islamic Jihad in the Gaza Strip. The Israel link, Home Front Command orders the closure of Ashkelon, Palakim, Ashkol, and Park Beersheva beaches in parks until Friday. Emmanuel Fabian from Times of Israel says initial reports of rocket impacts in Sderot and Ashkelon. So this is after that supposed ceasefire, which it had already seemed like it didn't really go into effect, but this definitely shows that it didn't go into effect because this was just an hour ago. And Ashkelon and Sderot are, let me zoom out so you can see it a little bit easier. So here's the Gaza Strip. Sderot is right here, and then Ashkelon is this coastal city right here. Emmanuel Fabian also says no physical injuries in the rocket impacts in Ashkelon and Sderot. MDA says, what's that? Ministry, I don't know what that is. Okay, here's what I was talking about earlier. I don't know, but it's coming. This Francesco Camito guy, he tweets a bunch of like unofficial things, but so take this with a grain of salt. Okay, unofficial Palestinian sources. These are the terms of the Islamic Jihad. I guess for ceasefire, I suppose. Number 1, restitution of the body of Qacher Adnan. Is that the guy that died from the hunger strike? Yeah, it is. That's him. Qacher Adnan. Okay, so I guess they want his body back. And the number, okay, so that's the first condition. Number 2, stopping the killings in the Jewish community. I don't know what that's referring to. And then number 3, cancellation of the Flag Day, or cancellation of the Flag March on Jerusalem Day. That's one of those things that usually causes contention. Let me look it up again. I think it's on the 19th. When is Jerusalem Day? Yeah, it's on the 19th of May. Starts at sundown on the 18th. But Jerusalem Day, it's going to be on a Friday. It's going to be, in fact, next Friday. Not this Friday, but next Friday. And if I remember right, they, just like it sounds, they do a flag march. Around, I think, just around the old city. And last year, it was particularly contentious because you had Ben-Gvir, this guy right here. He's like he is. I mean, just look at his picture. This is basically all you need to know of like where he stands and his intensity. He means business. He went to the Temple Mount earlier this year, knowing full well that it could start a third intifada. He's the one that's over the national police forces. He's the one that wanted a new, I don't know what it is. I think it's another law enforcement. It's like a paramilitary force called the National Guard, maybe similar to our own National Guard. I don't know, but that was his idea. He wanted that, and it was granted. But he's like a major agitator and basically a free radical. Look at him. So last year during Jerusalem Day, he joined that march knowing that it was going to stoke flames. Okay, so what is Jerusalem Day? It's an Israeli national holiday that commemorates the reunification of East Jerusalem, including the Old City, with West Jerusalem following the Six-Day War in 1967, which saw Israel occupy East Jerusalem and the West Bank, effectively annexing the former. So Jerusalem, right? So that's like a big day for them. That's why it's called Jerusalem Day. That's what the Jews want. They don't care so much about the eastern or the western part of Jerusalem. Who cares about the western? The western part of Jerusalem is like the modern part. You know, the Temple Mount is over here. It's in the old city. It's on the eastern side, the east part of Jerusalem, the old city. This is the part that includes the Temple Mount, the city of David. You know, you have the Kidron Valley. You have the Mount of Olives. The Jews aren't going to settle for just, oh yeah, over here, Western Jerusalem. You know, that's like one of the big sticking points is that the Muslims want East Jerusalem. And they're like, well, we'll have East Jerusalem and then you guys can have West Jerusalem. But it's like, no, this part over here is kind of important to the Jews. Now, I'm not trying to take sides, but like you see you see how it goes. Okay, let's get back to these updates. So I suppose they could cancel the flag march on Jerusalem Day. I don't know how likely that is, but they could. I know there's times where the government steps in and tries to keep things calm. You know, they will put restrictions on certain things, like Jews visiting the Temple Mount during Ramadan, for example, the last 10 days of Ramadan. 1 hour ago, chopper attack East Gaza. It's from Olive. Guy Elster tweets, breaking, truce efforts failed after Palestinian groups demanded that Israel stop its assassination policy. And he says that that's from Al Jazeera. I can only assume that the assassination policy that's being referred to is how they, yesterday, in a surprise attack, they took out those 3 senior leaders of Palestinian Islamic Jihad. Okay, 1 hour ago, OSINT Defender, families of the northern Gaza Strip are reportedly being told to evacuate from a number of high-rise residential buildings. I don't know if they're being told that by the IDF because, you know, the IDF, they want to minimize civilian casualties and collateral damage. And I know that they've done this thing. I think it's called roof knocking or roof tapping, where they'll send down like warnings, essentially, drop like a thing on a building. I don't know if it's like I don't know what it is, but it's like to let them know, hey, you better get out of this building because we're about to perform a surgical strike on a particular unit in your building. So I'm guessing that's probably who's telling them to evacuate. It's probably the IDF. Okay, an hour ago. In the last hour, the PIJ has been firing heavy barrages of rockets toward Israeli territory against the Israeli civilian population. The PIJ rocket fire is carried out from within a built-up civilian area that is used as a human shield. Okay. So that brings me to current, as far as like what I retweeted. But let me go see what kind of updates we've had since that time. So this will be new to me too, if there's any new things. This is from that Francesco Comito guy. Sources in resistance to al-Mayadeen, the Hanuman, quote, "We are ready to fight for a long period of time and expand the circle of fire if necessary." 44 minutes ago, this is from Instant News Alerts. Israeli strikes in Gaza now reportedly targeting homes of PIJ operatives, which double as weapon storage facilities. PIJ threatens to target Tel Aviv. and fire rockets deeper into Israel if the IDF continues targeting homes in the Gaza Strip. So if that's the case, I'd be interested to see if they use the David Sling weapon system again, which has only been used for the second time in history today. The only other time was in 2018. Okay. Emmanuel Fabian, Israeli readout of the call between Gallant, which is the Israeli defense minister, in Austin, which I think is, I don't even know who our Secretary of Defense. Yeah, Secretary of Defense Lloyd J. Austin the third. That's R for the United States. Okay, so this is coming from Emmanuel Fabian. He's the journalist with Times of Israel. Let's see what it says. Minister of Defense Yoav Gallant spoke today with his U.S. counterpart, Secretary of Defense Lloyd Austin. Minister Gallant discussed recent security developments in Israel, including 400. So now the last time that we got any update, it was 300. Now it's risen to 400, including 400 rockets fired indiscriminately over the past 2 days by the Islamic Jihad terrorist organization against Israeli citizens. In addition, Minister Gallant briefed Secretary Austin on the successful operation conducted by the IDF and ISA. I don't know what that is. Anyway, an ISA to eliminate 3 senior leaders of the Islamic Jihad in Gaza, and detailed the imminent threats posed by the terrorists. He further noted the IDF's readiness for every operational scenario, including a prolonged campaign and multi-front challenges. Yeah, that multi-front thing, like we've brought up time and time again, they're gearing up for a multi-front war coordinated and conducted by Iran. Minister Gallant concluded by thanking Secretary Austin for his ongoing support for Israel's right to defend itself and for the unparalleled partnership between the respective defense establishments. Yeah, here we go. Just like I said, this is from Olive 39 minutes ago. It happened before. IDF calls the building owners before targeting them. Make sure it doesn't have occupants. So they actually call the owners of these buildings, I guess. And then he posted a thing. It says, owner of the building received a call to evacuate it as it will get leveled soon. East of Khan Yunis, southern Gaza. So the whole building is going to be leveled. That would be bad news if you live there. Uh, 34 minutes ago, Palestinian sources report an attack on another structure in Beit Lahia by an unmanned aerial vehicle. "33 minutes ago from the Israel link, during recent airstrikes in Gaza, the IDF destroyed the home of a PIJ senior member. PIJ threatens to send rockets to Tel Aviv if the IDF doesn't stop." Now, I'm naive. What? Why don't they just kill them all? if they know where they live, if they know where all the leadership lives, and they know all the different facilities that they use, whether it's for storing munitions or um, training activities or whatever. Why not just take them all out? What would happen? What would happen if Israel decided to do that? Anyone smarter than me, put it in the chat. Why don't they just do that? I assume that Israel is well capable of just taking them all out. Are they worried that if they did that, then all these other groups would join in and it would like inflame the situation with other groups as well as other countries? Or like what? I don't understand. Okay. Let's see. Let's go to the chat. Rod Turple. I went to an almost exclusively Jewish attended high school. A few of them live in Israel now. I'm hoping to hear from them soon. Well, I hope that they're safe. It doesn't sound like the rockets have been too successful, but C. Will Miller, we want a ceasefire, but first let us launch these 300 missiles. Yeah, and that's the thing I don't get with the PIJ. Okay, so far nobody's joining them. I know that maybe they need to like show some strength, but by them firing rockets, what will it accomplish other than that? Like, why isn't there like a master grand plan between Iran and everybody? And it's like, okay, they're not going to be able to handle this. And then just like a big, huge, everyone attack, everyone attack. Like, why doesn't that happen? Is it hard? Like, is it too risky for some people? I don't understand. I don't understand how things work. I don't understand anything. La Granola, the chicken duel says, hi, Jared. Hi, Lola. El Paculi, Star. Are there any updates on Sister and Elder Jeffrey R. Holland? I don't know. Not that I've seen. Dayston, thank you, Jared, for doing these live updates. Rod Turple, that's my thought. The haystack leaders of various nations are intertwined with others, so it warrants responses where protections or agreements exist. Okay. Yeah, there's... Okay. The Daystan, I think they're afraid of further escalation. Elma Perry, both groups live by the eye for an eye law. You fire 5 rockets, and we have to fire 5 at you. What I just don't understand is like if the ultimate goal is to destroy Israel, why do they not all just cooperate and do it? Surely they have enough. Well, I don't know. Okay, I don't know. It's complex. Let's just leave it at that. It's complex. Okay, what else? 32 minutes ago, sirens in Gaza envelop, or I guess are going off. 32 minutes ago. 30 minutes ago, more sirens sounding across southern Israel. That's from the IDF's official Twitter account. Israel Link, shooting against a bus near Migdam. No injuries. So that's a shooting. That's not missiles or rockets. That's just like a terror attack, I guess. Where is Migdalim? Where's that? It's like a tiny little town on top of a hill. Let me zoom out. Oh, that's in the West Bank. Okay, whatever. 31 minutes ago, Israel Link, IDF calling residents of homes slated to be destroyed in Gaza and warns them to leave. Okay, Emmanuel Fabian, 24 minutes ago. IDF stats as of 21:30. Okay, 469 rockets fired from Gaza. 107 fall short in Gaza, so I guess those are like the failed rockets. 333 crossed the border, and 153 intercepted. And then, 133 Islamic Jihad sites struck. There's a lot of 33s going on there. That's a little, gadget and robbery, if you ask me. Anyway, that's a lot of PIJ sites. 133. That's a lot. How many sites or things could they possibly have? How many are there? Does it give like an estimate here? Yeah, it does. So on the Wikipedia page, it says that the size of Palestinian Islamic Jihad is about 8,000, but that's as of 2011. So who knows what's happened since that time. Okay. But anyway, like 133 sites, like how many sites could they possibly have if they only have 8,000, 10,000? I think that might pretty much be it. So this is where we're at the moment. So I don't know, still going on. It sounds like within the next few minutes to a half hour or something like that, there's going to be some buildings that no longer exist in the Gaza Strip. Doesn't sound like this is going to end anytime soon, but I guess it could. Let's see. More people voting yes, that others will join. Pamela Ferris says yes, I believe others will join, but not right away. Sherry Johnson says hi. Rod Turple, okay, we already read that. CO2MC number 26 says a lot of things happening in the news today. Janet Manning, stir the pot, keep them fighting. I think that's what she means. So let's see, new tweet. Oh yeah, there's this stuff going on like in Texas right now. I saw stuff about like the National Guard going down to the border. This is a tweet from Intel Point Alert. Developing, several people reportedly shot, unconfirmed reports suggesting at least 3 fatalities. And then it has like a picture. Well, I'll just show it right here. So that's the Texas-Mexico border, and the shooting is taking place on that bridge, I guess. Let's see, 10 seconds ago, B&O News. Heavy gunfire erupts at the Far Reynosa International Bridge on the U.S.-Mexico border. Who's there? Is the National Guard there? 25 seconds ago, the Washington Journal. A humanitarian crisis has replaced the public health emergency. The Title 42, and Title 42 is one of the few policies preventing a total meltdown of border enforcement. I mean, whatever. Heavy gunfire. That sounds interesting. All right, 59 seconds ago, the Israel link. Arab media reports a barrage of rockets were launched toward Israel. No alarms have been activated. Let me go over to this over here. I need to find more profiles to follow, or more Twitter accounts. Let me see what's going on with that whole thing. Title 42 order nears end. Abbott sends guards Texas Tactical Border Force to El Paso. Okay. Well, I think we're probably going to wrap it up here. I want to try and get a regular video done for today. That's what I was going to do, but I woke up. We had all these errands that we had to run. Thankfully, just here in town. We didn't have to go anywhere far. But then, like I said, as I was like waiting in the car for Jenica doing her stuff, I saw that more stuff was going on. I I don't know. Just things are just kind of crazy right now. But I do want to just emphasize that I think that it's significant. Where'd it go? I think that it's significant that what's happening right now seems to be of the same class and category as these other operations. So in other words, in this entire list since 1948, all these bullet points, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, I'm not going to count them all. Out of all these bullet points, another one is now, I think, going to be added to this list. Is it going to peter out after a few days, a week, 2 weeks, a month? I don't know. We'll just have to keep our eyes on it. They attempted to have a ceasefire today, but that didn't hold. I don't know. And like we were reading yesterday, there was like this opinion piece that was saying that Netanyahu is essentially doing this to show Israel that he's still the same Netanyahu, that he's going to be tough on terrorists. And because like there was this whole kind of like thing going on with the judicial overhaul that really tore the country apart. It's kind of been put on the back burner. I don't think it's completely off the table, but like he needs to kind of like consolidate his support, I think. And this is like a distraction from what was going on with the judicial overhaul. So I don't know. Maybe he'll go at it even harder. I don't know. Timmy, hello again. Wave. Michelle Vallejo, everyone watching, don't forget to hit the like button so Jared can be compensated for his time. Oh, thank you, Michelle. I get compensated by the ads. So, I think for some viewers it plays ads, and then afterwards, for anyone that watches the live stream afterwards, I think it just plays ads like it normally does for a regular video. So, but liking it does help it gain traction, I guess, with the algorithm and get suggested to more people. So you guys don't have to, but that'd be great if you could like it. Siwa Miller, Michelle, he's compensated just by us watching. Yep. There would be absolutely no way that I could do all this if it wasn't for the ad revenue, because it's too much work. It is too much work. It's impossible. I mean, I could do it, but by the time I had been done with all the stuff that I've done so far, I'd probably be like 60 years old by the time I could like write a book or something like that. So it has to be that way. Hold on. Breaking news. Okay, there were 17 new tweets that just came in. Okay. Okay. Guess we're not done. Okay, let me go back to where it's okay, going back to the beginning here. There's like an update with the Mexican border situation, and then it looks like some stuff in Israel. So the first one, 2 minutes ago, toy alerts. IDF says it strikes Islamic Jihad weapons production site in northern Gaza. And then another same thing, toy alerts. 2 minutes ago, footage shows IDF strike on Palestinian Islamic Jihad missile launcher. Also, a yard in Ashkelon suffers direct strike. No injuries. Don't worry, there's some interesting stuff coming. 2 minutes ago, hospital says 16 Israelis treated for anxiety wounds from running to shelter. Israeli Air Force strikes home of Palestinian Islamic Jihad member. So now that's taken place. And there's like a ton of smoke. Let me just show you this right here. The Israeli Air Force reportedly carries out a drone strike against the home of Palestinian Islamic Jihad member in the Gaza Strip. So, there's that. Don't worry, there's more. And then what we were talking about before, 4 minutes ago, Gallant tells U.S. Defense Chief Austin, Israel is prepared for a prolonged campaign in Gaza. Germany condemns indiscriminate Palestinian rocket attack on Israel. Okay, now it looks like we're moving on to this thing happening on the border. Okay. Video reportedly taken by Mexican customs agents below the international bridge between Reynosa and Tamaulipas in Far, Texas. Heavy fighting continues to occur in Reynosa near the U.S. border. Heavy fighting is currently ongoing, reportedly between Mexican National Guard / Customs and unknown cartel gunmen on the Far Reynosa International Bridge between the Mexican state of Tamaulipas and Texas. This is the third incident near this area of the border in the last week. Okay, so it's between a cartel and Mexican law enforcement and military. Okay, 3 minutes ago, rockets were fired toward Tel Aviv without a siren alert. Okay, all right. I guess that's basically it. Okay, really quick. Let's see what's being said. Dan L., one of those rockets is going to destroy the dome of the rock. that would be crazy. It doesn't seem like the rockets that they fire are particularly destructive as far as like having enough power to do that from what I've seen, but I could be wrong. Mad about JD. My patriarchal blessing says that this will be a time when people are frustrated because of the calamities permitted to happen to change world from wickedness to righteousness. Yep. Okay, Mick, love your videos, Jared. Love all of these topics that are leading us up to the second coming. And then heart. Thank you. Darn, I wish there was more, but there's just not. And I need to move on with the day. I keep like like I've said in other videos, I keep accumulating all these different quotes and stuff like that, and I need to share them. You know, it's like I just keep coming across things, and I want to share them. Otherwise, they're just gonna. I mean, no one's gonna see them except for the people that access my spreadsheet. Hopefully, you do, and copy some of these down. There's a lot of good information. There's so much that has been said by our church leaders that you really have to research it, and you have to find it, and you have to meditate upon it, and you have to collect it and just take it all in. There's so much information that's available to us, but at the same time we have to like take our studies seriously and not just like passively, read through stuff. Like it's good to read through things, but sometimes you have to do a little bit more. And I think it's a good exercise to make a collection of quotes. When you're studying particular questions about the gospel or the church or whatever, collect it, because our brains are not perfect. That's why recording things is so important. And I think that's why the Lord is always commanding prophets to write down to keep records of their genealogies, to write down what they've been told for the benefit of themselves, but also for future generations. So hopefully you guys, copy stuff down for my spreadsheet, and I'd appreciate anything that you have to send to me so I can add it to my spreadsheet. And hopefully we'll come to a better understanding of the Lord and his will and his plan for us in the second coming and just everything. I want to try and play around a little bit more with Chat GPT, and that's what it's called, right? GPT. Let me go to it again. Yeah, Chat GPT, and then Google has Bard. I asked it a question yesterday. I was like, because you can ask it to write essays, and you can ask it to do certain things, and I asked it. In fact, let me pull it up because it saves the conversation. You have to be careful with it, though, because, look, this is what I did yesterday. Okay, so I asked it, I said, please write an essay about the LDS Independence, Missouri Visitor Center becoming a temple in the future. And it said a bunch of stuff. And then it said this. However, in 2019, the LDS Church announced that it had purchased additional land in Independence with plans to construct a new temple in the area. And I was like, what? That cannot possibly be true, because I would have come across that. Believe me, I would have come across that. And so I said, will you provide the source for the church purchasing land in 2019? Certainly. The announcement of the LDS church purchasing land in Independence, Missouri for the construction of a new temple was made on April 18th, 2019. Here's a link to an official statement from the church regarding the land purchase. And you click on this, and it takes you to a non-existent page. We apologize, but the page you are looking for cannot be found. And so I was like, okay, well, maybe, it's like an old link. Maybe it got taken down. I said, that link doesn't work. Do you have another source? I apologize for that. It seems the church has updated their website, and the link I provided is no longer valid. Here's an alternative source that confirms land purchase by the LDS Church for a new temple in Independence, Missouri. Deseret News. And here's the supposed title of this article. LDS Church announces new temple sites in Texas, Utah, and Asia. Closes visitor centers in Independence, Missouri, and other sites. I hope this helps. You click on this, and oh, sorry, the page you're looking for cannot be found. Then I said, this link doesn't work either. I apologize for the inconvenience. Here's an alternative source for the official newsroom of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints newsroom. New temples announced in Texas, Utah, Bolivia, and Missouri. April 18th, 2019. This article confirms the purchase of land in Independence, Missouri for the construction of a new temple. Oh, okay. Let's click on this. We apologize, but the page you're looking for cannot be found. Oh, okay. That link doesn't work either. Are you sure the church purchased land in Independence, Missouri for a temple? Chat GPT. I apologize for the continued issues with the links. Yes, the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints did purchase land in Independence, Missouri for the construction of a new temple. The information has been reported by multiple sources, including the Kansas City Star and Deseret News. Here's a link to an article from the Kansas City Star that confirms the land purchase. Kansas City Star. Mormon church buys more land in Independence. Is a temple coming? April 20th, 2019. Link, kansascity.com. Oops. Unfortunately, we were unable to locate the page you requested. Please check the web address you entered and try again. So at this point, I asked, that link didn't work either. Are you experiencing hallucinations? Now, that's the term. I don't know if they use it for Microsoft, because I think Chat GPT is a Microsoft related project, or it's owned by Microsoft, I think. Google's doing a similar thing called Bard. And I think it was a documentary that I was watching about that they referred to these chat bots that are driven by AI as experiencing hallucinations. That was the term that they used in the documentary, where basically they produce false information. And I asked, I'm like, are you experiencing a hallucination right now? And it said, I apologize for the confusion caused by the previous links. As an AI language model, I do not experience hallucinations, but I strive to provide accurate and helpful information to the best of my abilities. To confirm the purchase of land by the LDS Church in Independence, Missouri for the construction of a new temple, here's a link to an official statement from the church's newsroom. And then it just kept, it would have kept giving me links over and over again if I had continued. And then later, let me show you what happened. This one went on for a while. And then I said, there was a temple built in Kansas City, in the Kansas City area in 2012. Are you confusing those links that don't work with the Kansas City temple dedicated in 2012? And then it said, I apologize for any confusion. You are correct that a temple was dedicated in the Kansas City area in 2012. Which is the Kansas City, Missouri temple located in Raytown, Missouri. The information I provided earlier regarding the purchase of the land by the LDS Church in Independence, Missouri for a future temple was incorrect. I apologize for this misinformation. Thank you for bringing this to my attention and allowing me the opportunity to correct myself. If you have any further questions or concerns, please let me know, and I will do my best to assist you. So basically what it did somehow is it fabricated these false links, and they look like genuine links to actual news stories, SL Trib, that stands for Salt Lake Tribune. That is the website. It's SL Trib. And, this is the right section, the religion section, and then it has the date, and then the name of the fake article that doesn't exist. So I'm sure that there's like some kind of explanation, and it probably has to do something with the hallucinations that the Google people were talking about. How they somehow they get these, I don't know what to call it, hallucinations essentially. Um, it's just really weird that it would provide this information like as though it's so sure that this actually happened. I don't know. But then again, you know, for a long time, software companies, game designers, people that are involved with computers, a lot of them are druggies. So I wouldn't be surprised if that seeped over into to now and their AI. Lonnie Cox, do you ever make it to the Olathe, Kansas area? Or, sorry, Olathe, Kansas area? No, I don't. I don't. The haystack, I've run into that. See, that's why you always have to verify for yourself sources. You know what I mean? So even with everything that we covered right now on Twitter, there's enough to suggest that most of that's true. Some of it could be wrong. Some of them are good sources, like the IDF themselves, that Fabian guy, because he's an actual reporter or journalist for Israel Times. Other ones, not so sure. I've never heard of some of these people, but okay, hold on. Just like maybe a few more updates. Hold on. I'm just seeing if they're okay. OSINT Defender account says update. It appears not to be a combat operation. Oh, they're talking about like the Ukraine war. Okay, never mind. This is 2 minutes ago from Olive. Sources for Al Jazeera: Ishmael Hania and Ziyad al-Nakla are discussing together developments in the field situation and intermediaries. Okay, yeah. All right, so nothing really. Hidden Treasures said big earthquake struck near Tonga. Yeah, I heard about that. Wasn't it like a 7.6 or something like that? I don't know. Brandon Porter, I've been spending the last 2 years working on a Book of Mormon spreadsheet. I sent it to you. I used Chat GPT to help me occasionally. Sometimes it is accurate, but I always go to the source. Yes, that's good. And thank you for sending that to me. I'll get to it at some point. I have a lot of things I have to comb through and go through, but I do appreciate you sending that to me. Glenda Wheeler from Salt Lake City. Thank you, Jared. Your work helps us so much. Heart. The Stylist Corner. It probably took the info down after you questioned it. It's just weird that it would like make that kind of mistake, but maybe if I was like a programmer, maybe I'd be like, oh, I know what happened. I know why it did that. Hidden Treasures, topic for a video, maybe for Haystack. Read the book of Jasher account of Joseph in Egypt. It's much more detailed and may have hidden info about Second Coming. All right, I'm going to take off now. Maybe if like other big things happen with this Operation Shield and Arrow, I'll get back on if there's more escalations. I think this is good. I think it seems like you guys are enjoying it. I'm enjoying it. So yeah, if it seems like anything else big is going on, then I'll hop back on here. So, yeah, that's it. All right, guys, take care. Watch out for the video that I'm going to put out, next few hours. And I'll talk to you guys later.